Today we are talking about 5 ways that you can teach people how to treat you better. I'm very excited to be talking about this. The first thing, and this is before we even get into the 5, is it's very important that you understand first how you would like to be treated. Just like we learn when we're little kids, and this is what I tell my kids if we're about to put a movie on or something, and my son goes, I don't want to watch that movie. Well, what movie do you want to watch? I don't know. You don't have a right to say that you don't like and don't want to do this unless you have a different suggestion. So start by knowing how you do want to be treated. And if you're not sure, start thinking about it. And you can even look to examples in movies or in other people. Maybe you do have some people in your life, you love how they treat you. Use them as an example for how you would like to be treated. So start there. Know what you would like in your relationships. And pretty much these 5 ways to teach people how to treat you properly comes down to you practicing boundaries and you being on your own side. So number 1 way to let people know how you want to be treated is use your words. Use your words. Tell people. Say, hey, I don't really appreciate it when you talk to me like this, or when you say that you're going to show up and you don't, or whatever the thing is. Be specific and say, I would prefer this instead. I'd love it if you would give me a heads up, if you would give me more notice, if you would speak to me in a more respectful tone, so on and so forth. Use your words to tell them how you would like to be treated. Second, use actions. Show them how you would like to be treated. It's the whole concept of treat others how you would like to be treated. Model the behavior that you would like. And this one seems really easy, but it can be really hard, especially if you are in a relationship dynamic where it's kind of dependent on some sort of mistreatment of each other. So if you actually change your behavior in that relationship and your actions and the way that you are showing up, the relationship has to change, right? Because you are changing how you show up. And that right there is telling the other person how you would like to be treated. They might not like it. They might try to hook you back into the behavior you were in before because that's what they're used to and that's what you're used to. But that's a really, really big one. Third, be consistent. And this is what boundaries are all about. Boundaries are all about consistency. You can't say, hey, I want this thing, all right, blah, 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 and then say it one time and think that that means change. You can't just change your behavior one time and think that that's going to fix it all, right? You have to be consistent because honestly, if you are the one changing the relationship and asking for the relationship to change, you have now officially taken the lead in that relationship, and the other person or people are looking to you for whether or not you mean it. It's the same with little kids. You can set a boundary with a kid. Because we're all just kind of little kids walking around, right? So you can set a boundary with a little kid and they can go, oh, I'm not so sure. And they can push and they can push and they can push and they can try to get you to go back into what you were doing before. And they will be persistent for a while. And if you give in even just one time, that is setting the mindset for them, the understanding that you can be persuaded that you don't really mean it. So consistency is huge. Another thing in terms of consistency, and this is sort of point number 4 on the 5 ways, is repeat yourself. Be repetitive with your statements, with your behaviors. There's no reason to explain yourself, to make excuses, to apologize, right? This is where keep it simple. Keep it really, really simple. Don't make it more complicated. Say the thing, let the thing be the thing. Again, no apologies, no excuses. There's no reason why you should be apologizing for asking someone to treat you better. That is absolutely okay. And you also don't have to pretend to be grateful when they make a little tiny change and it's not quite there. Don't pretend to be grateful if you're not really grateful. Expect the full change in behavior. And number 5, this is a big one, be willing to walk away from the relationship. Be willing to not be in that relationship anymore if the other person doesn't show signs of willingness and understanding to show up differently for you in your life. Granted, you are showing up asking to have a different sort of relationship, the relationship ending as you know it, so that you can have a healthier relationship, right? So you do have to have a little bit of time and patience to see if that person is willing, but a lot of that depends again on your consistency, on you showing up, using your words, modeling with your actions, being consistent, not apologizing, right? You being solid. And it doesn't mean you're going to feel solid all the time. Don't wait to not feel guilty. Don't wait to not feel afraid. Don't wait until the other person is ready and open and super receptive. Now is the time. Teach people how to treat you by showing up fully in your power, in your voice, in the fact that you are valuable and worthy of being treated well. So even if you don't feel valuable and worthy and you question and you're unsure and you're afraid of loss of connection, and you're afraid of losing the relationship, and you're afraid of some sort of retaliation from the other person or whatever, that find out. Give yourself a chance to find out what is truly possible, right? Because you might be surprised. You might find out that it's totally okay, and you also might find out that this person is just as much of an asshole as you thought they were, and you're better off not being in a relationship. So anyway, I hope you find that really, really helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions on this subject. This is really huge, but those are the 5 steps. I'm Jessica Amos. I'm a mindfulness teacher, a life coach, and I'm the founder of Stay With Yourself, which is the practice of being who you are, where you are, and this is part of it, right? Sending you so much love today. See you again soon. Bye.